You're making a table for each of those. So I'm giving you the x value for those. So for example, if I'm plugging -2 in for x, I will be doing 4 minus -2 quantity squared. According to PEMDAS, what do we have to do first here? I got to do the exponent first. So -2 squared is +4. And so I get 4. This minus is subtraction. And then when I actually squared that, I got a +4. So I'm getting 4 minus 4, which would be 0. So that first point is -2, 0. You're then going to plug -1, 0, 1, and 2 in. And then you're going to make it, just plot those points to get a graph. All right, so that's where we're starting right now. All right, what's happening when we plug -1 in then? -1, we have 4 minus -1 squared. -1 squared is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then if we have 0 in, 0 squared is 0. 4 minus 0 is 4. If we plug 1 in, we'd get 3 again, because we'd have 1 squared, which is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. And if we plug 2 in, 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. That's your table. When we plot those points, you would get an upside down parabola. One of the things we are going to talk about in this lesson today are the x and y intercepts. So, what does our x-intercepts mean again? We haven't really talked about that this year, but I know you talked about them before. Where do I find the x-intercepts? Sean? Where am I looking? What part of the graph am I looking at to find my x-intercepts? Yeah, we're looking for where the graph is crossing the x-axis. Now, we do have to write them as ordered pairs. So, -2, 0 is one answer, and then the other place it's crossing is at 2, 0. Just make sure you are writing them as ordered pairs. They are points on the graph. And then the y-intercepts where it's crossing the y-axis, which is going to be 0, 4. All right, for our other one, those vertical bars are absolute value. Remember, what does absolute value do to our numbers? Makes everything positive. So if I plug 0 in, 0 minus 2 is -2. Absolute value -2 is 2. If I plug 1 in, 1 minus 2 is -2. Absolute value -1 is 1. Plug 2 in, 2 minus 2 is, absolute value of 0 is 0. Plug 3 in, 3 minus 2 is 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2. So that makes a V shape. And again, take a second and then write your x-intercept and your y-intercept here. Once it's graphed, you can state those intercepts. So what do we got as our x-intercept here? Gabe, what do you think? Good. Remember, as long as it's touching, it doesn't have to be crossing. This is just touching it here. So we have 2, 0. And then our y-intercept is Logan. What's the one? 0, 2, right up there. All right. All right, so that's part of what we're talking about this lesson. The other part of the lesson that we're going to be talking about is writing equations based off of words. So you might want to write this down. It's up to you, but at least reviewing it. So keywords. As you read these words out, you got to remember what they mean mathematically, like translation. Translation. Math is a language, just like Spanish and English. You have to translate English to math in this case. So when we see the word difference, what again does that mean? You're subtracting. Okay. If you're saying sum, you are adding. If it's squared, remember that means the exponent of a 2. Okay? So I'm just going to put a 2 up there. So, or x squared. Decrease by would mean you're going to do what operation? You're decreasing it. So I'm just saying you have $5 and you're decreasing it by $2, you would be subtracting it. Twice, if you take twice of something or 2 times something, you would be multiplying by 2. 3 more than x would be, how would we write 3 more than x? No, that'd be 3 times x. If I have a number and I have 3 more than it, it would be x plus 3. If I'm saying 5 less than x, then it would be starting with our x, and what operation would we be doing? Minus 5, so x minus 5. So there's just some keywords as we go through here today as you're doing a Desmos activity to get through here. So that's what we're doing right now. You're going to work on the Desmos activity that's posted in Google Classroom. It goes over a wide variety of things. It's all in that first section. It goes over intercepts. It goes over rewriting those vocab as words. It also goes over what graphs, some graphs would look like based off situations. Once you get to the graph part, we will go over some of that stuff.